Hello, everyone. Uh, hello, everyone. I just want to go into talking about market share investing a little more. This is the second video, and I just want you all to know that there is a few ways that I look for investments. These are some of the ways that I find investments. I look for big businesses that are growing like crazy and are popular like crazy, and they seem to have a growth to them in their in what they're doing and their size and their money and improvement in their product, uh more improvement in their business. And so, it has a good growth strategy, has the right things to help people. The second thing that I use is sometimes I look around the store. I'll go to the grocery store and I'll look at pop things that are becoming more popular on the shelf. If they had one or two products on the shelf, if they bought more space on the shelf for their products, and it's consistently having more and more space on the shelf for that product or business, then I would consider that to be popular and something to look into investing in. I often try the product first, though. Say it is a chili or a soup. If the product is taking more and more space on the shelf, then it's selling and it's making more money. And so in most cases, I've never really seen a case where it's been different than that. But if they've built on their shelf something and they built more and more room for it with a line of products or more different things that they could sell to people, then it would be worth the way to sell. I also look at IPOs. I mentioned that in the last video, but really just you know looking to and fro throughout the market for the right products in the right situations and the right ones that are growing in market share. And I look at new ideas, innovations, and products, if that's going to make more market share or of something that they're doing. Like one time, I found a taco shell that was that was like a little boat, and I saw that as maybe a new way to have a dish. Well, I tried the taco shell, and the taco shell didn't taste very good. But if they could improve that, maybe they would have some type of other dish that they could make with that. So you have to look and be creative and really just look at what you can really use to make market share happen for your company. And so that's what you can do. Um, I just want to include some more information, like uh, if if your company has grown and is growing, you have to look at a time when the company is trying to offer their shareholders a reward. That's one thing that you can look at, because sometimes they grow and grow and then they shrink because they didn't have a way to grow more because of problems with the product. Now, you know you look at things like BYD Auto, which is a business that Warren Buffett invested in. I invested in that company. I invested $800 and I came out 600% more and made $5,000 with it. And it is a good company. And if I didn't want to put my money somewhere else after a few years because it was going down, it grew from $2 up to $11, then went back down to 2, then and luckily I got out before it went back down. But it rewarded its shareholders, but it didn't have the right equipment. I mean, the right things for it to grow all the way through. It didn't have this huge climate change thing going on back then when I invested in it in 2009, and it didn't have that, then. So it ran out of steam for a while. Now, it was a good car company, and that's an asset that it had. It was a very good car company. It just didn't have the right technology. Technology is not always the easiest thing to make in any investment. And so you want to look at that in a way that, yeah, it was a good car company. They had good things about their company, and eventually they grow again. They went from $2 and like 10 years down the line, they were $50. So it depends what time frame you're trying to work in. If it's a good company, it's steadily growing in sales and cars, then it's a good car company. And they license out their technology to make them more versatile. And so that's what I looked at. I didn't invest in it later, which was something I just didn't have the money to do that. And so it was a good investment. I made money with it. And sometimes you gotta know when to get out of a company, because they just didn't have the right technologies available for growth. They didn't have, I wanted to invest in Tesla when it was $40, and that's what it started out as, but eventually it became $2,000, and so that would have been a good investment to invest in then. And I wanted to invest in Google when it was $60. It eventually became over $1,000. In early on, it split tenfold, and $1,000 would have turned into $800,000. You got to know what you're doing, So if it's a good business and you believe in the business and you see that its market share is growing throughout it, then you could invest in that. Right now I have I tried to get one of my friends to invest in .go because it's growing. It's only $800 million. And so it has that growth rate where, in a few years, it could be $5 billion. And so you got to look at what's there, and what could work. If it's just a good company you believe in, most likely others do too. And so, you can look at that, of what people think about the products and the company and what they have. Is it a company you believe in, that you understand, that you see is growing, and that has a growth in market share? It has more and more room to grow because the the overall industry is growing. That's a good one. Now, here's something I see. There's a couple of investments that I want to talk about and that you could invest in. And with the purchase of this video, you could be able to get that. And there's two of them. You have AT&T Discovery, and it has DC movies coming out. Now it's starting to do more and more DC movies, and they may go about and have the same thing that Marvel had with movies, and doing more and more movies of their universe. And that could be a way of gaining money. Now, the thing is, they're larger, they're a bigger company. And so it may be harder to see where you could get market share from. So that's a company you may want to think about. It's kind of like that Samsung thing I mentioned about the dryer and washer that they had, that they were starting to do dryer and washer products. Also, we have another one that I'm looking at right now, and it's really good. Now, when I do, look at things, I look at several different things. I look at the designs, I look at everything that's working for it, everything that's working against it. And, I think about those things too. And so you got to know what is going to make market share. Are you dealing with a huge dinosaur that's not doing anything, that won't take care of its competitors? Or are you dealing with something more versatile that will work against its competition, like Google? Or, if you look at these different things, you can be able to look at the right things to grow things with. And so, one thing that I would look against is something that you don't understand that's really complex. You may have information about something, but you may not have good investing advice on occasion. Like, one thing that I tried to look at in investing was looking at oil. Now, oil is a good investment, but the thing is, you have other things that have come about in oil that make it not work. They still have lots of gasoline and all that going about, but now they have recycled plastics, which is one of the big products of oil. And so you may have less, things that they would need from the ground. They would just recycle trash, recycle plastics and things like that. And that could be why, there was kind of a difficulty last year, because they were talking about recycled ones, and they were recycling completely. So they didn't need new oil, and it kind of affected things in a little bit. But that is what you should understand too, is that there are a lot of similar things that happen that you can look at and see that, if it's something viable. One thing that I looked at with search engines is, you have a viable search engine that's growing on its own, that is at beyond a growth point that it wouldn't become useless to people. If it's useful It has it it works for everybody, and it has an edge on the market. That's what DuckDuckGo is, and um, and Brave. Those are those are two search engines that could grow and make money. So I would invest in that. It could reach $20 billion on its own. Take a little share out of Google and MSN, and you know make money with it. And so that's the investments that I would look at for these things. So we're going to go over, we're going to recap over this now. And you can look at, how different investments worked in different markets. One thing that I noticed from 2008 is that a lot of these banks that got, money from the government to be worked in against, like, they gave them money, like AIG and Bank of America. They received money from the government. And then you have these car companies that receive money from the government. And so it worked out for them and their stock price. So what happened is their stock price went up. Sometimes they overvalue things that may go bankrupt, but when you see the government rescue it, it may go up a lot and restore itself. And that's what happened for those companies. Ford and GM and Bank of America and AIG. They restored themselves. Now GM is working towards bankruptcy now, and people are buying some of these car companies are being bought out by Elon Musk. Elon Musk has such a good entrepreneurial attitude and way he does things that you may think that Twitter wasn't that lucrative, but now it may be lucrative. So it may grow a lot over the next few years. And that's what I think, honestly, is what's going to happen, is that some of these companies, this is more a quicker dollar, not Twitter, and that's not what I'm talking about, but the other ones that almost went bankrupt, AIG, the banks. And so probably the government is going to rescue these companies because they're important. And so, that's some of the ideas that I've had over the last few years. And so I went through, I did some fake stock exchanges, and I bought Ford at $2 back then. Well, it went up to $12. That was interesting, And so I bought an Amazon when they started to go into writing and publishing. I bought in that on a fake stock exchange, and it went up. I watched it for a while, and it went up. And so you may want to wait a year or 2 or 3 to see when it's going to reach its peak on finances for that market share that it's growing with. And so, with all that, with all these ideas and everything, so I think Twitter is a good investment. Elon Musk knows what he's doing. And I think that, with the internet, we have AI, things that are appearing and may make new companies because people have a way of making code. And, all this is brought a struggle for people because people are quitting and starting their own companies. Some people are starting new things, and that's just what's happening. And the other things is people don't have to work as hard for the code that they're doing because they're given code by the AI. And so that's another thing from GDP. That may be a good investment, but the thing is, will we keep this product online if it causes, businesses to fail? And so, one thing is, you just don't keep all your eggs in one basket. I recommend, and this is from Dave Ramsey, is you get growth stock mutual funds, and you get them that have more than a 15-year record, and they have a long record of growth over at least 15 years. And from that, they can be able to guess that this may work for a long period of time. And so from all that, you can understand how to make some money. Another one that I would look at is getrichslowly.org. And it has a lot of frugal things that can make things easier for you to use. That's really good for saving money and investing and looking at your all the looking at all of what God has for you. You can be able to budget with this and be able to look at how to create your finances in the right way. So, you may want to invest in some things. You may want to look at some things when you go into the grocery store or go into Walmart or HEB or online and just see what is selling and what is making more and more money. And so that's the whole point, is so that you can make more money and live a better life and enjoy your life. I'm just going to end it right here. I'm gonna lead I'm going to lead y'all in what you'll want to be led in, and a lot of people want to be led in their finances. And so this is one way that I can help people and help them be able to see what they can do. And so some of those ideas are really good. So just look around at banks, shop in the right place, just look at those things and look at how you can value things. That's it. And I hope that you are able to do what you want to do with your life and be able to make money and success to you. Well, that's it. You have a great day. Bye-bye.